Yeah, we shall see. Well, speaking of big men, Joel Embiid actually got signed by Skechers, and he's the head of the basketball department. Nikki, what are your thoughts on that?
Obviously, it's a big step up for them as a shoe brand now that they're gotten into basketball. And they're not really that big of a sports brand either, because even they got like a few golfers, a few baseball players, but they haven't really done anything to make a huge splash. This is their first chance to make a big splash and get more notoriety behind their name, maybe get a few more sales off their shoes. I
Mm-hmm.
think it is good for them, and it's a big step in the right direction because Julius Randle, he's got a name, but he's not really going to move the merchandise needle. Embiid does it far more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Coach, how do you feel about
Mhm.
Embiid signing with Skechers, becoming
For
a face?
me, Skechers is always going to be. When I think of Skechers, I'm always going to think of Howie Long.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah.
Joel Embiid. I mean, I get it. I mean, for the younger generation, I get it. I get it. I'm older. I remember Howie Long. Big number 75. I know what he used to do, and how impactful. And most of this generation knows him from being on Fox NFL, pregame shows, but you don't remember the player. I do, and he was just as big as Joel Embiid. So when I think of Skechers, that's what I think. But Joel Embiid, I get it. It's also, in terms of business and marketing, you're also attacking international in Africa,
Yes.
because think about that. He's from Africa, and there is a younger generation that looks up to him. So business wise, it's very smart. I get it. But when I think of him, and I'm one of probably the few, and it's my unpopular opinion. Shout out to my brother. I'm always going to think of Howie Long when I think of Skechers.
All right. Rios, how about you?
No, I agree with Coach as far as like a marketing standpoint. It's pretty good because like he's one of the few faces on there, so he doesn't have any competition like say like Adidas
Hmm.
or Nike. And
Right.
the international side as well. My only concern would be, they're not really known for making athletic shoes like for basketball, and for bigger guys like it's all about your feet. You got to take care of your lower extremities because if look at Lonzo Ball or those
Mm,
BBB shoes, pretty much ruined his career.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
good point.
from a sports standpoint, that's my only little concern, just because they don't have a long history of making basketball shoes. When you think of Skechers, think of like comfortable shoes or like
Hmm.
Coach said, Howie Long. Like you don't really think about athletic shoes in regards to Skechers. So that's my only concern with that.
Yeah, and especially for me, when he was from Under Armour to Skechers, he was always behind Curry. Like Steph Curry, it was owned that brand. He like owned Under Armour. He was the face of everything. And now Embiid is getting a chance to sign. He uh, becomes the face of Skechers. Do you think that will move the needle, get other players involved, like another superstar, perhaps? Could that be the case?
Superstar? No, maybe other lesser known players or guys in smaller markets, like you saw with like some of the guys going to getting the shoe brands from China, like the Anta shoe that D Wade wore for a while and Clay wears, and those other I think the other one that was Ning Ning or something like that. So maybe get some other guys that that aren't as popular, some shoe deals, and kind of help market them a little bit more, in their area, overseas, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Nikki, do you see anyone coming over and joining Embiid and Skechers?
Hmm. At
You don't
some
have to
point,
name anyone. I was
eventually,
just asking.
someone eventually it'll happen.
Yeah.
Just not sure when.
But it depends on how he performs, and with him wearing the sneakers, if it helps his because he has lower extremity issues, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if
Yep.
they help him, then yes, it could possibly open a door for other players, especially younger players coming into the league. To say, hey, I want to join the Skechers, network. Kind of like with kids, a few years ago running in over the Jordan. Kobe. He, even though he was with Nike and under the Jordan brand, he still had his own. They all do that. So it can open a door depending on how things go with him.
Yeah. And smart move by announcing him when he first came back into the NBA after that injury. after the meniscus injury. They announced it right after tip-off. So I'm like, that was smart. Very good marketing on that part. I like that. He's back in, and you get to see him in Skechers for the future here on out. So great job by NBA for that Skechers on that part.